Here's three reasons why fasting just isn't working for you. My name is Ryan Sanders, owner of Project Fresh. And for over 13 years, I've been helping people take control of their health, optimize performance, and build sustainable habits that stick. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist and certified sports nutrition coach, I've worked with everyone from athletes to busy professionals, coaching them through the science and the real world challenges of fitness and nutrition. Here, I share the stories, the lessons, and proven systems that make long term wellness possible. So glad to have you guys. This is our regular broadcast. And as I mentioned, we're going to talk about fasting and three different reasons why it's not working for you. So before we get into those three things, I just want to talk a little bit about the stats around fasting. What is fasting generally? And this is in the context of fasting for your improved health and wellness. I know that there's a lot of other reasons or several other reasons for fasting, such as religious or spiritual means. And then you'll see that observed. We just had Ramadan, I think, previously. So that's a season, beginning of the year, that we hear about others around us fasting. If you know any Christians, any followers of Christ in your life, fasting was one of those things that Jesus encouraged in his ministry with his disciples and those that follow him. But for specifically today's purpose, it's about improving your health and your wellness overall. So looking at some of the statistics, back in 2022, they did a survey that showed about roughly 80% of the whole worldwide population is familiar with fasting. Particularly, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting today. And one thing that really stood out to me, and just kind of looking at some of the different numbers and things around this, was 10% of Americans use intermittent fasting as an approach to their health and wellness. And that's on a regular basis, not intermittently, but regularly. There was one other thing that stood out. Oh, yeah. And you might notice intermittent fasting has become a little bit more prevalent over the days. So if anyone's watched the documentary that Chris Hemsworth did, he talks about fasting and autophagy, which is a byproduct of fasting. It seems like other celebrities in mainstream are doing it too. So Jennifer Aniston, I know everybody knows her from Friends. Hugh Jackman, huge Wolverine fan. Scarlett Johansson, another one of the Marvel, and others. I know she's in a lot of other movies other than Marvel, but more recently. And then Margot Robbie, if you know her from, I think her more recent role has been the Harley Quinn character in Batman series with Joker, or I should say the Joker series from Batman. So anyway, those are just a few different things around the popularity, the percentages, the different things that make intermittent fasting specific. And I just want to share this with you too. Now, this is a clinical study. The full name of this was Unlocking the Benefits of Fasting, a review of its impact on various biological systems and human health. And this is just a very quick summary. I'm going to read this real quick, and then we'll get into our 3 points. Fasting has shown promising effects in improving cardiovascular health markers, such as blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and triglyceride levels. Additionally, fasting has been suggested to enhance insulin sensitivity. If anybody knows about blood sugar, insulin spikes, insulin sensitivity, type 2 diabetes, or maybe someone that was born with it, type 1, even if you've gone a little further, type 3 and the implications it has with our mental health, then you'll know how important insulin sensitivity is. Promoting weight loss, specifically here we talk about fat loss, and improving metabolic health, which that's very important overall, thus offering potential benefits to individuals with diabetes and metabolic disorders. Furthermore, fasting can boost immune function, reduce inflammation, enhance autophagy, which I just mentioned, and support the body's defense against infections, cancer, and autoimmune diseases, all very prevalent. Fasting has also demonstrated a positive effect on the brain and nervous system. It has been associated with protective properties, improving cognitive function, and reducing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases, besides the ability to increasing the lifespan. So we're talking about how many years you live. So that was just a quick one on a study. This study was taken, let's see, when was this? Not getting a date on it. Oh, actually, it's a summary of several studies dating back to 2012, 2017, 2015, 2023. Okay, so that was more of a peer review, collaborative look at several studies, and that was the overall abstract finding. So 3 reasons why fasting isn't working for you. Number 1, simply you're just not eating enough food in the day. Now, I know you're probably thinking, wait a second, why are you talking about me not eating enough when we're talking about fasting? That's a great question. And so here's where I want to make sure you understand that fasting is third in the step in that foundational process I've mentioned in the past. You guys haven't been here before. For those who are following us or watching us on YouTube, usually I'll show that. I'm not going to show it today, but there is a hierarchy of how we eat. And so foundationally, it starts number 1 with how much we eat. Total calories in, total calories out. The deficit of that will help you lose weight. The surplus of that will gain weight. The maintenance of that will keep you at the weight that you're at. More times than not, that is ironclad. That's going to work all the time. But before we get into anything, it starts with how much are we eating? And that's why I made it number 1, because if you're not eating enough, fasting may not work for you. Number 3, when we get to it, I'll highlight that a little bit differently in the context of what step number 2 is, which is macros, proteins, carbs, and fats. We're all familiar with carbs and fats, right? Proteins and actually your nutrients are going to be something I'll talk about a little bit later. After you've established the foundation for how much and then macros, number 3 then becomes the timing of your eating. So we're talking about intermittent fasting. A simple intermittent fasting split would be that, let's say, for 10 hours out of the day, that's your window to eat. So that means for the remaining 14 hours of the day, no food. Now, generally, you drink water, maybe some tea, as long as it's very little or no calories. Any supplementation that also is very low or no calories is fine to support you in that. This is not a ketogenic diet. And you'll notice that we'll never use the word diet here unless we're talking about specific diets that are out there. This is all about a lifestyle plan. And so with that being said, very specifically, I want to make sure you guys understand that this is what intermittent fasting is that we're talking about today. Okay, so how much do you need to eat? Well, if you don't know, we can definitely chat about that. But let's get on to number 2. Number 2, your plan is temporary, meaning it's a strategy, not a lifestyle. I'm going to intermittent fast for 30 days or 60 days so I can achieve a set goal. And then after that set goal has come, that date, we're getting close to April, which means everyone's going to start figuring out summer is coming if you haven't already. And so in that context, you will set a date, let's say April 1st, to get yourself ready for a a May 15th date, wedding, cruise, whatever it is. And after that, you go and you enjoy yourself, you come back and you're right back to your habits. It was a strategy to get you to the end goal, but not a lifestyle, meaning something that you keep with you over the days, the weeks, the months, and the years. Now, one little caveat here really quickly. If you're not sure that fasting is the right thing for you, but you're interested in it, probably would be good to talk to your physician first, because you'll have that relationship with them if you have a primary care, and you can talk about the possibilities of your fasting, your schedule, if it is okay to fast, and how prolonged you can go in your fast. And I'll talk a little bit about what I've been doing that I've seen that's work for me towards the end. Okay. So if you really want to see this work for you today and tomorrow, we're talking about a lifestyle change versus just simply a strategy to achieve a goal 30, 45, 60 days down the road, or however long it may be, still temporary, right? All right. And then number 3, here's the third reason why fasting just isn't working for you. Number one, simply you weren't eating enough. Number two, most likely you've been using it as a strategy versus an actual lifestyle habit. Number three, you're just not getting enough protein and nutrients in. A lot of times the people fast naturally because you restrict the window at 16-8, so 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating, or we call it the feast window, feasting, time to grub it down and eat up, right? A lot of times what happens is when we restrict the time in which we eat, we also restrict how much we eat. Now, yes, that's probably going to be less calories. That's going to mean you're probably going to lose some weight. The chances are with restriction of calories, protein's going to take a hit, and also your nutrients, key nutrients especially, are going to take a hit. That means all of your vital minerals and vitamins are not going to be at optimum. All right, not enough. Now, one thing I'd recommend there is planning your protein first in this third category after you know how many calories you need. Start with your proteins first. Make sure you have protein in every meal and make sure you're getting enough. On average, the typical survive threshold, how much you want to get to survive as far as protein, is about 70% of your ideal body weight. So that means if my ideal body weight is 200 pounds, I want about 140 grams of protein a day. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot. Well, if you multiply that number by 4, that's only going to get you, let's see, that's 140, so 280, that's 560 calories per day. So that's not even close to 1,500 calories, right? That's barely a third of 1,500 calories, which for most people would be pretty low. So getting you closer to maybe 16, 18, depending on how much you weigh for that 200-pound person, it's probably going to be closer to 2,000 roughly. That is an ideal starting point for your protein. Another story for another day. Vital minerals and vital vitamins are nutrients. All of the vitamin B's, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D3 is very important. Vitamin E, I've been looking into that a little bit recently as far as the impacts of vitamin E and how that's prevalent. I saw a recommendation to rub it on the gums if your babies are teething. I can't confirm or deny that's true, but our puppy has been having a lot of teething issues, so we're looking into that to see if that might be working for him as well. And those are just to name a few. Vitamin K. On the mineral side, magnesium, calcium, potassium, chloride. Let's see here, manganese. There's several others. Sodium is very important. I did say that already. And there's others to name as well. Nitrate, if you want to look at that, that's not so much, well, yeah, we get some mineral. I'll have to double check. Nitrate. We'll see what it says. I'm actually not sure. It'd be more or less along the lines. Yeah, it is. Nitrate is a mineral, and so is iodine, for example. Anyway, long story short, it is very important to make sure you get those because if you don't have your protein levels up, if you don't have your nutrient levels up, you're not optimized, meaning you're asking your body to work at optimum without giving it optimal. That's also on a daily basis. So those are 3 reasons why we found that a typical intermittent fasting program does not work, does not last, does not give those long-term lifestyle benefits that the person who starts out doing intermittent fasting is looking for. And so one thing that I'll say for you guys today is a little takeaway. We've got a little resource for you. It's a free application that I've been using that's been working really well. And I'll let you know the word to post in the comments here in a second. But before I go there and share that with you to wrap up, I have used the 16-8 split. So 16 hours of fasting window, 8 hours of feasting window, and one little twist that I put on it 2 years ago that I picked back up this past week was I would do my intermittent fasting Monday through Friday. And then over the weekend, I went from Friday evening, so around 8 o'clock, to Sunday at noon, right around noontime, lunchtime, and usually right after service, after we get back from church. That framework or that schedule I did 6 weeks in a row, and I went from about 15% body fat all the way down to just under 10% body fat in 6 weeks, right around 15 down to about right under 10. Saw the differences, felt the differences, and those are the byproducts. I lost a good amount of body fat. I maintained my muscle and my strength because I did exactly what I recommended, making sure to have my protein, making sure to have my nutrients. Number one, making sure I'm eating enough. So that didn't change. And that was the change. Now, I'm doing it again because I want to see a few different things that I didn't notice last time. Not so much about slimming down, trimming down, being nice and shredded for a pool party I have coming up, a business pool party. But more importantly, I'm doing it for the mental benefits. I've been talking about that the last couple of weeks. I've been working on changing my mindset and being aware of how I'm thinking, what my thought patterns are. And I can tell you yesterday morning, Sunday morning, I woke up, I felt refreshed. I felt really good. My mind was operating on all cylinders. I found myself just naturally in a space and place of gratitude. It wasn't necessarily what I was putting myself into. I just felt grateful for the day and how I was feeling and just very sharp. I woke up rested and refreshed. Saturday nights can usually be a challenge on that longer 40-hour fast, but man, did I feel great. So just something to consider. Now, as far as that resource, it's a mobile application. It's free both on Android and on iOS, on Apple iOS. If you're interested in learning more about that app and maybe you want a few tips on how to use it, go ahead and post in the comments the word FAST, FAST. Post FAST in the comments. We'll connect you to the app so you can check it out. It's free. We're not affiliated. It's just a cool resource that we found. It's worked well for us. We are working on getting a fasting feature in our Project Fresh app. But for now, in the meantime, we have something that works really well. And in the meantime, this is Ryan Sanders with Project Fresh. We meet here every week for our Monday Lunch Live, and that is at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I hope you guys have yourselves a great week. Next week will be the last Monday of the month, and we will definitely be looking forward to connecting with you again then. All right, have a great one. Take care, and we will see you guys